Initially, I honestly thought it was probably a little bit too good to be true. Been promised the world before and had none of it delivered. We went through the demo, looked good, but the true test was when we started doing some tests internally and trying it out ourselves. But we saw value almost straight away. From a back-end service perspective, complete standardization across every single microservice. Every single microservice looks the same, feels the same, runs the same, is deployed the same way. All our databases are code first. It's been fantastic. So PSG Financial Services is a JSE, listed financial services company. We provide a number of services to our clients, both through our advisory network, but we also have a direct to client, side of the business. From a vision statement perspective, we're transitioning away from, conventional financial services and trying to become more of a financial technology player. Yeah. So our technology stack is predominantly Microsoft based. So Microsoft backend, Azure, all the good stuff and that Microsoft provides. Huge Microsoft business. On the front end side, though, we do branch a little bit into the Google side of things. So we've got Angular and Flutter as our two frameworks. Flutter, obviously, for mobile. Angular is what we use for our web development. The first time I heard about Intent Architect was actually through my application development manager at the time. He introduced us to you guys. We had a little bit of a demo. Initially, I honestly thought it was probably a little bit too good to be true. Been promised the world before and had none of it delivered. We went through the demo, looked good, but the true test was when we started doing some tests internally and trying it out ourselves. But we saw value almost straight away. I'm not. I do a little bit of development. I'm not supposed to. In the prototype space, meant to be more strategic, but I've spent some time working on it myself and definitely see the benefits. I mean, I can put down better code than probably some senior developers just with the using Intent. It's a fantastic tool. One of the first projects we used it on was creating a new operational data store, but a code first, data store, which I think is really up in really in the wheelhouse for Intent. We had that sized at something like 180 or 200 hours just to get the framework down for the operational data store and the CRUD services itself. And with Intent, I mean, we had it down in probably 2 weeks with a graduate. So it was a huge turnaround time, and with someone doing something that's so business critical with very little experience, it was amazing. And then we went even further than that, in that we had our importers or these data normalization pipelines that we set up, and we got those done within 2 or 3 weeks afterwards, also with graduates. So it's been absolutely fantastic in terms of being able to get lots of value out of new developers in a really short space of time. And that for me was really probably the starting moment for us to start using it in a whole bunch of other areas of our business, a bit of a trigger moment. It now forms, probably every project since that we've created from a backend perspective has been built with Intent in the online space, in our direct business. So we're talking, I think we're up to 30 microservices at the moment and growing. We're not looking back. Code standardization, obviously a huge concern for us. And what Intent allowed us to do is, just by design or just by being the path of least resistance to getting something out, has allowed us to have, from a back-end service perspective, complete standardization across every single microservice. Every single microservice looks the same, feels the same, runs the same, is deployed the same way. All our databases are code first. From a code management and from a just code cleanliness perspective, it's been fantastic. So from a learning and development perspective, we've seen, Intent puts down really high quality foundational code, right? And for new joiners or guys who are new to backend or guys coming through our graduate program, we encourage them to inspect and to really study the code that Intent produces. We utilize the standard clean architecture, framework that ships with Intent. And it really instills great foundational skill sets, and it allows guys to really understand how code should be structured. And what we've also seen is that the developers are doing the things that they are most interested in, which is solving problems, not writing boilerplate, or not worrying about, when I upgrade this, I have to manage these 14 NuGet packages, and like that. That's not where we spend our time anymore. We spend our time solving problems, and whether I know I speak a lot about graduates, but I've got senior developers also using it, and we're getting huge value out of them. Guys are turning around projects in if it's half the time, it's a lot, right? You know what I mean? It's they're spending they spent a lot of time on the thing. They've rewritten it 14 times. In half the time, they do it to write it once normally. The business benefit for me is having being able to trust timelines from developers, right? So it means that if someone tells me it's going to be a week, I am more likely to believe that it's going to be a week. Historically, standard code development practices, they tell me a week, I plan for 4, right? And what intent has allowed me to do is trust in the timelines that are provided to me by my development teams, and that's fundamental for me in terms of strategic planning and budgeting and a whole bunch of things that you do manage from a business standpoint. I would definitely recommend intent well, I have recommended intent to almost everyone I've spoken to on code generation tools or anything like that. I think from a back end perspective, anything touching .NET or like intent is a must have, right? It's not something that you should think about. It's something you should just take and run with. You definitely get huge benefit out of it.